Andretti Racing has been knocking on the door of F1, facing challenge after challenge, with the criteria for entry into F1 constantly changing and significant pushback from F1 teams, particularly from Toto Wolff. The Silver Arrows team principal has been in solid opposition to Andretti entering F1, and it looks like the Austrian has got his way. The FIA has officially opened applications for new teams to enter F1, with the potential of up to 2 teams being considered. You would think it would be great for Andretti, but when you look into it, the new process doesn't help them. Stick around to find out what power Toto Wolff has been given and the latest statement from GM and Andretti on their entry into F1. The FIA has been keen to get new teams onto the racetrack, with President Ben Sulayem supporting Andretti and another potential candidate joining the grid. And it finally looks like the FIA and F1 have come up with criteria that all new teams must adhere to before they can be accepted onto the grid, with the FIA releasing a statement that reads, "The FIA today announces the official launch of an application process to identify prospective teams seeking to participate at a competitive level in the FIA Formula One World Championship." The FIA welcomes interest from entities with a serious intent to enter the FIA Formula One World Championship. Frankly, it is ridiculous that there wasn't a formal process to welcome new teams. It is slightly suspicious and does lead to the notion that F1 is a closed club, with only a select few being able to race rather than an open championship where anyone can compete. That said, it looks like we now have one in place, so let's consider what this will mean for new entrants. Does it make it easier for teams to enter F1, or is it just a smokescreen to look like F1 is doing something? The under-fire president of the FIA certainly believes the time is right for new entrants, saying this in a recent interview. FIA believes the conditions are suitable for interested parties which meet the selection criteria to express a formal interest in entering the championship. For the first time ever, as part of the selection conditions, we are requesting that candidates set out how they would meet the FIA's sustainability benchmarks and how they would make a positive societal impact through sport. The process is a logical extension of the positive acceptance of the FIA's 2026 F1 Power Unit regulations from engine manufacturers, which have attracted Audi to Formula One and created interest among other potential entrants. Great news if you're an Andretti fan, you would think, well, not quite. This process won't be as easy as everyone thinks. Firstly, this is just the initial step, and the FIA is keen to get this process going, with a decision to be made on bids by June 30th of this year. All parties have until the 17th of February to declare their interest and until April 30th to formally apply. So what do the teams have to do to enter F1? Let's find out. Firstly, there is a small fee of $30,000 to be paid, and no, this is not an anti-dilution fee, but a small fee for due diligence that the FIA will have to carry out. Clearly, F1 thinks money just grows on trees. The FIA press release reads that all applicants will undergo thorough due diligence. The assessment of each application will cover in particular the technical capabilities and resources of the applicant team, the ability of the team to raise and maintain sufficient funding to allow participation in the championship at a competitive level, and the team's experience and human resources. The FIA also claims it will conduct a fit and proper persons test for anyone in management positions. The governing body will also assess the candidate's value to the series, including a look at the entrant's integrity. So far, so good for Andretti. They will have no issue proving the above, as they are both experienced and would most certainly be able to self-fund the project for the foreseeable future after the backing they received in December. The following criterion is that each potential applicant must demonstrate how they will achieve net zero CO2 by 2030 and how their participation in F1 will achieve a positive societal impact. Andretti will have a plan to get around this, as most companies now have to prove how they are going carbon neutral. At this rate, Andretti is coasting into becoming the 11th team on the grid. But if it was this easy, anyone could enter, and this is where it gets interesting. As the FIA statement reads, "For the avoidance of doubt, no new applicant has an automatic right of entry to the championship. The maximum number of teams competing in the championship up to and including the 2025 season is capped at 12. Existing F1 teams will be given priority over new applicants. If no applicant is considered suitable by the FIA and/or by the F1 commercial rights holder, no new F1 teams will be selected. Here is where we hit the first snag and probably the biggest. Essentially, the statement reads, any new entrants to Formula One will still be dependent on the permission of F1's owners and teams. The F1 teams hold the final trump card and can veto any new teams joining. Any Andretti fan following the team's journey will know that their team holds a slim chance of joining F1, as according to reports, only 2 out of the 10 teams are keen to see Andretti join the grid. But as usual, this has not deterred Andretti and GM, with a spokesperson recently telling Planet F1 this: the FIA is being very diligent, transparent and fair in their evaluation of expanding the F1 grid, the spokesperson said. With the release of the call for expressions of interest, we are diligently working to respond. We feel strongly that GM and Andretti's deep racing competencies form a distinctly American team that will heighten enthusiasm for F1 racing globally. Mario Andretti believes that Andretti has done everything to enter F1. They have the FIA in their corner, but only time will tell if the new process will get them further in the door. Knowing the Andrettis, they may knock the door down to get in. We've done everything that was asked of us, and so far we've delivered, he said in the latest issue of Motorsport magazine. We're honest in our approach and we're willing to do whatever it takes to reach our goal. That's what drives us. It's what we love, and that's not going to change. All along there have been headwinds, but you have to have the resolve, the relentless pursuit of your goal, and there's always the opportunity to succeed. A lot of things have been discouraging, but there's encouragement. The support from the fans, the people who love the sport, has been so strong. Even with all the adversity shown to Andretti and GM, the team appears to be even more determined with their entry, and hopefully for their fans they can get it over the line and there are no further spoilers. But if we all know F1, this will not be the last of it. A point to note is that this was the FIA that made these statements and not F1. This is potentially a thawing in the relationship, or another episode just waiting to explode in the FIA's face. Only time will tell, as we all know how F1 responded to the last FIA statement of new teams joining, and they are not exactly excited about it. Now, everyone has been pointing fingers at Toto as the bad man that won't let Andretti in, but 8 other teams also don't want them in, and it looks like the Red Bull team principal has now aired his opinions on the matter. Horner recently opened up on the Andretti application and why he is not backing it, with it all being about the money. As with all these things though, it ultimately boils down to, well, who's going to pay for it? Horner said in a conversation with Racer.com. The 2 teams that are supporting it, McLaren and Alpine, either have a partnership in the US with them or are going to supply them an engine. The other 8 are saying, well, hang on, why should we dilute our element of the prize fund? Only time will tell if we will get our first new team since Haas joined in 2016. And since 2010, new teams Marussia, Caterham, Virgin Racing, and HRT have all folded after a handful of years in operation. There is a sense of excitement around it, but many older F1 fans will tell you they have seen it all before. Comment below and let us know if you agree with the process and have the FIA given F1 teams too much power.